Hello, and welcome to the syllabus review for instructional methods for adult learners. In this about 10-minute segment, we are going to quickly go over some of the highlights of the syllabus. I'm not going to sort of read it in detail and go over every single thing, but I do want to point out a few aspects of the syllabus that I think that you will find important to focus on. On this first page, you've got some contact information for me, and I just want to point out to you that I'm not actually hanging out there at Loyola 401 Desk 6 because this is an online class and because this is the only class I teach for Seattle U. I'm away from the campus pretty much all the time. So if you would like to meet, I'm happy to meet with you by appointment. I'm happy to go to the Seattle U campus and meet with you, or meet with you by phone, or meet with you at my own home campus at Seattle Central, wherever you would like. So just let me know if you'd like to meet with me. Um, let's see. We've got our course description, and what I want to jump straight to is our course goals. We've got three main goals for our course. One is to be able to develop instructional plans. So we're going to spend a lot of time looking at what goes into a lesson plan, the different elements, and how we can put one together, and then actually teaching with that lesson plan that you put together, making revisions to that, and teaching again. So we'll spend lots of time focusing on the lesson plan and being able to implement the lesson plans. That's being able to teach from that plan that you have created. And then finally, being able to use feedback and reflection as an instructional improvement tool. And we will be engaging in feedback and reflection all through the quarter. So those are our three main goals. And you'll see that everything that we do helps you to meet one of those three. Our course instructional method is that this is a graduate seminar that's being offered online. And there are no face-to-face sessions. There's no required synchronous sessions, though I'm going to have a few optional synchronous sessions to answer questions around the assignments if you have any. I expect everybody to be an active member in this graduate class. Active to me means 4 to 5 days a week that you are engaged in our online class. If you are doing fewer days, like 1 or 2, you should expect your grade to reflect that. Not that I'm grading on attendance or whatever, but you can't engage in all of the different things that are set in this class if you're only giving it a couple of days. Let's see, we've got reading, we've got some things to think about in the graduate course. Let's talk a bit about our reading. Our main text is Brookfield's The Skillful Teacher. This is a great book. I think you're really going to enjoy it. And I know that it's not normal to enjoy the books that you have in your graduate courses, but I think you're going to find Brookfield fun and provocative. So I hope that you enjoy the Brookfield book. We're also going to be reading Universal Design for Learning. I know this is a text that some of you may have come across before. We're going to be reading this digitally, and I'd prefer that you do not buy a physical copy of this book because we'll be talking about that digital reading experience. And then during the class, you're going to have a group activity. You'll be working with a group, and your groups will be working around certain topics, and each topic has a book. So hopefully you did not buy these books yet because we still have to form your groups, which we'll be doing in the first couple of days of the quarter. Our course is being hosted nearly entirely on Canvas, although we'll also be using VoiceThread. All the assignments have to be submitted in Canvas. I will not accept any assignments via email or in other manners. If you haven't downloaded the Canvas app to your smartphone, if you have one, I would strongly recommend that you do so because the Canvas mobile app is super handy. Let's see. Your assignment deadlines are all marked in Canvas on the assignment, on the syllabus page, and in the calendar. And I'll mention all those to you in the course tour, or already did if you already went through the course tour. But one thing I want to point out to you is the late pass. This is something that I find that might be sort of unique to me. The late pass recognizes that you have a life beyond this class. And you probably have a job, you probably have other classes, you might have kids, other things that get in the way of turning in things on time. With that in mind, I give you 3 late passes, which are opportunities to spend an additional 4 days working on an assignment to turn it in with no penalty, and also for whatever reason you want. Maybe you need to binge watch several episodes of House of Cards, and maybe you just, maybe someone in your family is ill. It does not matter why you're asking for the late pass. Um, it's just an opportunity for you, for whatever reason, to take 4 extra days. You have 3 opportunities to do this. There's no benefit to not doing it, so please take advantage of this. If you have run out of your 3 late passes, or if you forget to ask for one, because they have to be asked for before the assignment is due. No, this is not about, oh, I forgot to do this. Let me take some extra time. This is planning in advance. It doesn't have to be a lot in advance. It could be 1 minute in advance of the due date, and you're still fine. So please take advantage of the late passes if you need some flexibility. Let's see. So here are the general course of assignments. You'll see that we'll be working on these as we move through the class, and that some of them are bigger activities and some of them are smaller weekly activities. And so we'll talk about each of those as we get to the focus areas in the syllabus here. In my grading, I'm using a Mastery Complete and Complete grading scheme. So either you get all the points or you don't get the points. I'm not trying to dicker around about whether you did something or whether you didn't. On the positive side, if I mark you as incomplete, you can do it again. You can revise your work within 1 week and get it marked complete. So you'll see that it's complete, incomplete within each element of a rubric. So you may get fewer than the full number of points. Again, you could do it again to get the full number of points. These are the standard things that we have to put in every syllabus, and hope that you take advantage of the protections and opportunities afforded by the university. So let's look at our various class assignments. The first is the course plan. As you saw, there's several assignments that we'll be doing during the quarter, and your course plan helps to plan for those. All of them take a little bit of advanced thought, and so you're going to do that thinking this week. I realize it's sort of hard to do thinking when you don't really have a full comprehension of what's coming up, but that's where we are. So you'll be planning for the various activities that are coming up. For example, you get to do a teaching observation. In this assignment, you'll tell me who you're going to observe. You will be working, as I mentioned, in groups. In this assignment, you'll tell me which group you want to be in. And finally, as you know, we'll be doing 2 practice teaching sessions. I want you to tell me what settings you plan to do the practice teaching. Now, all of these things, planning is necessarily things might change. So this is you're not written in stone. This is just you telling me what you think you would like to have happen. If it changes, that's okay. Just let me know. Teaching observation, as I mentioned, we'll be doing a teaching observation. You can observe a teacher in any setting as long as you are not a student in that setting. It's a great opportunity to sort of turn a critical eye to the profession that you're in, and use that as a jumping off point as you're thinking about your own teaching, what you want to make sure you do and what you want to make sure that you don't do. We'll also be working on this group activity on these 4 topics: collaborative learning, assessment, critical thinking, and hybrid teaching. You'll be reading a book around that and gathering resources to create a chapter of a handbook that you can use in your own teaching, and hopefully as a resource for your own practice teaching sessions. Let's see. The the practice teaching sessions, there's 2 of them, and to sort of build up to this, you'll do a draft lesson plan, and that's what assignment 4 is at 4.1 is about. The beginning is a draft lesson plan. Then you'll submit that lesson plan for comments from me and from your peers. You'll get that feedback back, and you'll probably want to do some revisions. So that will happen in 4.2, and then 4.3, all of the practice teaching sessions should be recorded, and 4.3 will be the uploading of your recording, again for the opportunity for your peers to review and give feedback. Assignment 5 is almost exactly the same, except for you don't have to turn in a draft. By this time, I'm hoping you sort of know what you're doing, and you'll just submit all of the supporting materials from your second teaching session, your lesson plan, if you have a PowerPoint presentation, that handout, any other things that you use to support the class. That's what's assignment 5. And then your final activity for the class is the teaching portfolio. The teaching portfolio is a collection of all of your work put into a nice portfolio that could be used for an employer in showing your teaching skills. So those are our main course activities. Then we've got our smaller weekly activities. One is our class discussions, except for clearly I can't spell discussion. I'll have to fix that typo. um, and the class discussions are every week, and I'll expect you to engage in those discussions on at least 3 different days. You'll be in smaller groups. It's not a group activity. I just break the class down into smaller groups so that you're not having to engage with the entire class all at once. And I think you'll find these activities, if you participate fully, to be lively and interesting. We've got our weekly learning logs, and this is our regular place to reflect on learning of the week. And then last but not least, our Brookfield reflection. And in the Brookfield reflection, it's a special place where we'll be using VoiceThread to reflect on the Brookfield readings. And that is it for your syllabus.